Are you thinking about moving to San Antonio in 2025? Let's break down the cost of living, from housing, utilities, groceries, to hidden costs. Is San Antonio still affordable? Let's find out before you make that move. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Jonathan. This is Trevor. We are the Alamo City Living Team, and we are real estate agents here in San Antonio. We help people just like you make the move to San Antonio with their families. We would love to assist you. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. We do post videos every single week and you do not want to miss them.
All right, guys, first on the agenda today, we're going to talk housing because let's be honest, it's probably going to be the biggest portion of where your monthly expenses are going to. So here's where we stand going into 2025. When it comes to home buyers, median home price is hovering right around that $310,000 mark, which if you've seen our last video that we did in spring of 2023, it's down about $5,000, which was about $315,000 last March. Right. Now, this is still way below places like Austin, which is about $540,000, Dallas, which is about $430,000, and hold your breath, Los Angeles, which you're at a whopping $850,000 for the median home price, and New York, which you're looking at about $670,000. Not to mention, that's not even going to be a house, that's just going to be either a condo or an apartment in some building. Now, all that to be said, mortgages average out around this price at about $1,800 to $2,200 a month. Now, there's a couple of factors that go into that. Your interest rate, your insurance, your taxes, all of those things are going to help that number fluctuate, but that's just a pretty standard number across the board based on those numbers.
How much money you put down and so forth.
Exactly. There's a lot of variables, but that's just a pretty rough estimate. Now, how does this compare with the national average and also other major cities around the United States? So when it comes to the national average, San Antonio's median home price is about $310,000, which is about 10% lower than the national median of about $338,000. And by the way, if you do want a more in-depth market review of San Antonio as it stands right now with the housing market going into 2025, we just did a video on it. We're going to drop that link right up here. Click on that. That's going to give you all the information that you want to know about the housing market here.
All right, guys, next we're going to talk about transportation. That is a really big deal for a lot of people. But you know what? Not a whole lot has changed in the way of public transportation here in San Antonio. We did a video last year talking about the cost of living, and it's pretty much the same, guys. If public transportation is the way for you, then we do have a VIA bus system, but it really operates within the center of San Antonio. If you're living on the outskirts of town, say outside of the 1604 loop, there aren't quite as many bus stops and ways for you to get around using VIA. Now, if you do use VIA, a bus pass, or I should say a daily pass, is going to cost you about $1.30 a day for a pass. And if you buy a monthly pass, that's going to run you roughly $38 a month. Now, San Antonio is a very large city, the 7th largest city in the country, and is really knocking on that number 6 spot when it comes to Philadelphia, I believe. So it is a very spread out city. So you are going to be spending some money on gas, but thank goodness our gas prices are not nearly as high as you're going to find in some of these other cities, like we talked about LA, for instance. Now, gas prices on average right now as it stands, we're looking at about $3.20 a gallon. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did see it as low as $2.68 a gallon. I drive a big old diesel truck, and it really costs me right now about $90 or so, $95 to fill it all the way up.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, you're right. I was going to say it. I've even seen it lower. This week, I was able to fill up for $2.23.
Oh,
now,
wow.
The very next day, it shot back up to $2.60. But again, $3.20 is just an average. You're going to find places that are lower, some places that are higher, but that's just kind of an average.
Now, if you are doing a lot of driving, as we mentioned last year, and of course is going to be the same this year, the highway systems have expanded a ton. We're still seeing a lot of construction on our highways, but they are doing a very, very good job at some of these major, I would say, areas that cross like 410, I-10, 1604, 10. These areas we're seeing a lot of flyovers in construction, right?
Yeah, for sure. And initially, if you're familiar with here and you live here, you're going to go up there and see it. People are going to be confused. So for a while, there's going to be some congestion. But for the most part, after things get flowing smoothly and people have driven on it for a week or two, usually things end up being a lot more efficient and you can get there a lot faster than you would before.
Now, we have seen some slowdown when it comes to getting to certain places in town over the last year. You know, you do have to leave 15, 20 minutes a little bit early because of some of that construction, and then every now and then they will have to shut down portions of the highway so they can put those big flyovers over. But again, once that stuff is complete, I think going into 2025, 2026, we are really going to see a lot of traffic be alleviated because of this construction.
All right, guys, let's talk about utilities. Now, I understand this isn't the most glorious subject to talk about and it's not the most fun, but it's still important, especially if you're planning on moving here from somewhere like Seattle, New York, California, all these places where utilities are pretty high. Now, compared to a lot of these places I just mentioned, San Antonio isn't too bad. So here's what we're looking at. When it comes to electricity, you're looking at about $150 to $200 a month. And trust me, in the summertime, your AC will be working. Water and sewage is going to run you about 70 to 100 bucks a month. Trash and recycling, about $25 to $30 a month. But depending on where you are in the city, a lot of the time this fee gets roped into your taxes and your property taxes because this is a service depending on where you live within the city.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, my address is San Antonio, but I actually live out in the county, so I pay for my own trash. There's a couple different trash companies that you can choose from, and we pay every 3 months, and I believe we pay somewhere around $75 every 3 months.
That sounds about right. I'm in the same situation. There's only a couple of different providers, so you're probably going to be used to paying a similar rate as everybody else is. But if you live within the city limits, good news is that it's roped into your property taxes. And now the big one, internet. Now you're going to average probably $60 to $80 a month, and all of these things are circumstantial depending on the level of support that you need. This is just kind of an average of what people are paying. Now, how does this compare to some of these other major cities across the United States? When it comes to national average, electricity costs are pretty on par. They're about $170 a month, which is about what we were expecting. When it comes to Austin, you can expect similar utility prices, but internet costs can be a little bit higher. It's a pretty techie city, and there's a high demand for that. Now, Dallas, utilities are going to average slightly more, which is about $200 or so for electricity. New York, utilities can hit about $300 a month or so, and internet costs as well. I can't even imagine that. And finally, Los Angeles, the last major city. Electricity and water bills are both higher, with electricity ranging anywhere between $200 and $300 a month, which is significantly higher than what we see here in San Antonio. And a quick little pro tip, if you're not from here, look at installing a smart thermostat to help keep your bills low. I know I've had the Nest, and I think there's another one that's made by like Honeywell or something, but they do help. The technology is really good, and they will help lower your overall costs every month.
All right, guys, here is a really big one, and one that I don't think everybody always talks about, but it's going to be groceries. And I'm sure wherever you are thinking about moving here from, you are experiencing the pinch when it comes to increased grocery prices. Well, San Antonio, it's the same. Prices have gone up. If you're a single person moving to San Antonio, you're really going to be looking somewhere around $300 to $400 on average to spend on groceries. Now, for a family, I'm a family of 6. My kids are growing. We spend right around $1,000, probably more in groceries, but I know that we spend at least $1,000 a month in groceries. Now, when it comes to going out and enjoying yourself out in town, for myself and my wife, typically when we go out to a restaurant that's not known to be like extremely expensive, we're really spending somewhere between $45 and $50 for the both of us. Now, when we go out with our kids, we're spending right around $125 to $150 for the family. So if that might give you a little bit of context for yourself on what you can look to spend.
Yeah, I think you're right. So us, we're a family of 4, so we got little kids. We typically like to eat in. We'll go grab some food somewhere and bring it back to the house because our kids are sleeping early, as they should be. But for the both of us, we're probably looking between $30 and $40. Now, again, this is obviously going to depend on your lifestyle, what you order. If you're ordering everything on the menu, don't even listen to these numbers, man. You need some help. But all in all, still reasonably priced, but it's getting up there.
It is getting up there. And again, it really is going to depend on where you go. San Antonio has really become a place for foodies. We're seeing all these new restaurants and really cool spots popping up all over the place. And some of those places can be a little bit pricey, especially if you're down near the Pearl District and things like that. But your average restaurants, you're going to be paying those average prices right around $50 for a couple and a little over $100 or so if you're going with the family.
All right, so the big question, again, how does this compare nationally and to some of these other major cities? Well, when it comes to the national average, groceries are about 5% less in San Antonio than they are nationally. Now, just north of us, our neighbor in Austin, they're looking at about 10% greater than San Antonio. Dallas is about 5% more, and New York City, eating out is crazy expensive, so you can expect to pay double to even triple what you would pay here in San Antonio.
All right, guys, life is not all about bills and groceries. You got to have a little fun too. So what does it look like if you're wanting to just have some fun out in town with your family? San Antonio has Six Flags and SeaWorld, right? A lot of us have season passes to those places. We absolutely love it. If you're looking to go to SeaWorld just on a day pass though, you're looking at about $70 to $80 a ticket. Now you can get the season passes, which is going to cost you a couple of $100s, but that will be for the whole family, which is really awesome. Now, if you enjoy going to the movies as much as I do on the weekends, you're going to be looking at right around $15 to $20 a ticket. But if you go on a Monday or Tuesday to certain theaters, you can get $5 tickets, which is pretty awesome.
They call them Bargain Johnny for a reason, and you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a frugal guy. I like saving my money.
All right, so back to the question again. How does this compare to the national average? So when it comes to the national average, San Antonio is on par with movie ticket prices, but they're a lot cheaper than places like New York. Now, Austin is going to be pretty similar when it comes to entertainment. Dallas is going to be pretty similar when it comes to the gym and the movies, but when it comes to attractions, they have Six Flags up there, I believe. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Now, New York, on the other hand, movie tickets are averaging about $17 to $20 a piece, and gym memberships are well over $100 a month, which is insane for me to comprehend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And finally, in Los Angeles, gym memberships are about $75 a month, and theme park tickets are way more expensive. You got Disneyland, and to be honest with you, we can't compete with that.
Now, one thing I want to remind everyone is that San Antonio has great weather year-round. Right now, we are in the middle of December, and the weather is 60 degrees. So you don't necessarily have to spend any money at all on a gym membership. The outdoors can be where you get your workouts in, right?
If you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing. And if you don't want to go to the movies or go to SeaWorld or things like that, there are so many outdoor things to do in San Antonio and around San Antonio year-round. So you could save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars
for sure,
just right there. All right, guys, that was a quick cost of living breakdown. We hope that you enjoyed it. Hey, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We do post videos every single week, and you do not want to miss them.
And whether you plan on moving your family in the next few weeks, next few days, even next few months, please reach out to us. Don't hesitate. We are the people who you speak to. We are the people who answer the phones. So that information popping up on the screen, don't hesitate to reach out. You can shoot us a text, shoot us an email, or give us a call, or visit our website popping up on the screen, www.alamocitylivingteam.com, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about San Antonio. So guys, thank you so much for watching our stuff. Catch you in the next one.